Father is right now is the canon law professor at St. Peter's Seminary, St. Peter's Wonderful Institute of Canon Law, and has been working there as professor for the past 27 years. So well established in the church law, enlightening all the people all over India, also abroad. And Father originally from the Diocese of Pondicherry. He worked in the diocese actually only for 4 years in the parishes, but all the time he has been rendering this service to the church in India. And right now he is also the president, re-elected president of the Canon Law Society of India. All the professors of canon law, they formed a society, and he is the president of that. And he is also the secretary of the canon law of the CCBI, that is Latin bishops. And the Father, besides all this, is very pastoral. You know, he read the entire Bible, recorded it in Tamil, and every day, twice a day, it is televised in the Mother TV. Every day. The entire Bible. It is he who read it. He gave the voice. Not only that, and he has also read the entire prayer of the church, all the readings. He has recorded it, and we can also, he says, we can also download from a particular app so that we can listen to that every day, even when we do not have time, even while having bath, brushing our teeth, or maybe just while resting, we can switch it on and read. So Father has very deeply committed to Christian life and Christian life, and so he's a great example for us. It has been very difficult to get him. I've been trying ever since I became a bishop. Then when I tried, it was impossible during the year. Just now, he has finished his session in Ahmedabad for 3 dioceses, and then from there he flew in here yesterday. So now we are very lucky to have him here. It's very rare to get him. During the year he is really occupied, and so he has got a lot of knowledge of the canon law to help us to guide us to carry on our mission, both as priests personally or called, and as well as our mission to be in the parishes and work with other people. So please welcome Father.
Good morning, Bishop. Good morning, my dear fathers. First time here I am addressing the clergy of Vijayawada diocese. I addressed some other dioceses already. I consider it a great privilege to be called by my friend Bishop. When I met the Bishop for the first time, I was only 2 years a priest in 1988. We stayed together in NBCLC for 40 days. From that time onwards, as an elder brother, he was always a source of great encouragement to me. I have grown and he has grown. And he was also called to teach Italian to our postgraduate students who are doing canon law. I am very happy to be here, to be of some assistance to the priest. Especially nowadays, I decline many invitations to the sisters, except for their general chapter. But then when it comes to animating the priest, I offer my services willingly. So in that way, I am here. First of all, thank you for this invitation. I am sure you will not regret for having come here at the end of the day. Because listening to a talk is for 15 minutes also is reading like 10, 20 books, if it is useful. And then listening to me, interacting with me all day, I think you will not regret, I tell you. Sometimes we say, so I have so much of work to do, so how to come here, set a day apart. I always recall Jesus' words, the poor are always with you. Mary is sitting at the feet of the Lord to become a meaningful martyr. Not because you have come today, even in future, I appeal to you, beg you, like St. Paul, never miss an opportunity of these kinds of programs. Never, never miss an opportunity. Commenting on the call of Moses, the great Cardinal Martini, in his book on Moses says, Moses, when he was called from the burning bush, he was 80 years, according to the Acts of the Apostles. Why the bush is burning, but it is not consumed? In other words, Moses did not lose the sense of wonder even at the age of 80. Yesterday I was reading a beautiful book by Cardinal Ravasi. There he says, he's actually quoting someone, the world does not lack wonders. Only people lack the sense of wonder. The world is full of wonders. Open your eyes and see. And be really struck by what marvels the God has done. So that's why the permanent formation is important. I'm happy that permanent formation is given due importance to the bishop, and you have come among many other priests. First of all, permanent formation. Formation ends only in the tomb, begins in the womb. Formation. With regard to the religious, the law of the church, canon 659 to 661 speak about it. Formation is permanent. I tell my students, without feeling tired, repeatedly, if you want to be young and attractive, charming, do two things. Do some good to someone every day. Learn something new every day. Do some good to a person and learn something good every day. Fathers, I am in the team of the formation of the MSFS fathers, permanent fathers. I used to always wonder how a senior father like Anthony Mokandottam, a great philosopher, theologian, at the age of 85, used to take down notes when I used to address the senior clergy. I said, what this man is going to do at the age of 85? Some of us think we learn everything by mobile or WhatsApp or by internet like that. That man had the sense of learning wonder at this age. I am happy to share the next room of the great scripture scholar, Father Legrand, an authority in infancy narratives, professor of our bishop, great Father Legrand, 91 years of age now. Every day he walks 4 kilometers evening. He is the first one to read the newspaper. First one at 7:30 every day to respond to the email. Knows what is going on in the church, in the world, in India. Knows the topography of our land. That's why he is saying, learning something new every day. Passionately learning something new every day. If you have stopped learning, you are already dead. Maybe you will be buried at the age of 80. Some die at the age of 30 and then are buried at the age of 80. That's all. So that is the ongoing formation. Permanent formation. Canon 279 of the Code of Canon Law speaks about it. Importance of permanent formation, obligation of permanent formation, right to permanent formation. Some of them are sent for higher studies, not that merely. Amidst your pastoral ministry, that permanent formation to which I am calling. Again, there is another canon, 555, the vicar foreign or the dean. I don't know how you call it, a dean or vicar foreign. Okay. So they have to cooperate with the bishop in seeing to it
that all attend permanent formation courses. It's another matter. Sometimes we have himself doesn't come here. That is another matter. They have to assist the bishop. Canon 384 speaks about the relationship between parish priests, all priests and bishop. One of the things is the bishop should make the means available for the formation of the priests. Make the means available. That way, first of all, this is about the formation. My dear fathers, I can talk the whole day on various topics. Sometimes I should talk to you something that is useful, sensible, meaningful to you. It seems there was a war pilot who met with accident, plane crash. So, as he was coming down in his parachute was caught up in a tree. He was worried whether it is his own country or enemy land. He was not sure. So there is a man, he found a man there. And then he asked him, where am I? He was worried which country he is or which land he is in. The man said, you are there in your parachute on a tree, he said. So he said, the war pilot looked at the man intently and told him, I think you are a Catholic priest. I think you are a Catholic priest. But I don't have my cassette on. How did you find out, my son? God bless you. How did you find out? Because, Father, what you say is absolutely true and absolutely useless. What you say is absolutely true and absolutely useless. I may be saying during the course of the day something absolutely true. I don't want it to be useless. So feel free to interact with me on any issue without any fear. One of the things I challenge my students is this. I will take the whole seminary for dinner or give biryani, a group of 300 people also, on two things. One is, if you defeat me in table tennis, whole seminary will get a dinner. The second is, if you make me angry in the class. If you make me angry in the class. On this score, I challenge them always, even now. If St. Peter's students are the champions in the whole of Bangalore, so many 30-odd seminaries are there, but even they cannot defeat me in table tennis. One father told me, Father, why you are always losing with me in table tennis? I asked him, hey, please, but very good player. Then he told me, Father, my mother told me one thing, not to challenge the elders, he says. Because he is not able to defeat me, he says like this, not to challenge the elders. So feel free to ask questions. If you want, we will send the bishop also to his room. If without the bishop, you can be sometimes more free to ask the questions. Okay, feel free and happy like that. So what I want to begin with, first and foremost, some of the things. Please feel free to interact with me anytime. I know there will be in a class of 30, there are 2 students to ask questions only to irritate me, but they can't succeed. So like that, even if you ask me to irritate me, to guide me in a different direction, you will not succeed. In this score, I am confident about myself. Okay, doesn't matter. One of the things, my dear fathers, see, the twofold focuses, especially the Lenten season is coming. Our priestly life, our priestly ministry. Priestly life, priestly ministry. Do you want to live as a priest, honestly? Do you want to exercise ministry as a priest? This is the twofold point of reference for. Some of us say, as long as I do my work, you don't bother about me. That alone is not enough. The witness of being comes first, before the witness of doing. Witness of being comes first. You are a public person. You have to give witness. You have to pray. You have to be seen as praying by the Lord. So, the witness of being, witness of doing.
See, in our own Latin code itself, if we have talked, it says, Latin code itself, the priority of description is somewhat different. Maybe I would say first, in accordance with the teaching of the church, the teaching office, sanctifying office, governing office, like that they have to be given. But maybe I follow the method of the code in introducing you some topics. First of all, it speaks about obedience. Canon number. So canon law is not very bad. Don't be allergic to canon law. Some love their sister-in-law more than canon law. So father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, the Holy Father, while promulgating the code, he said very beautifully, there is no conflict between canon law and Bible. Canon law is born from the Bible. If any provision of canon law is against the Bible, Bible prevails, not canon law. So don't be allergic to it. He says very clearly, Jesus said, I did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill the law. Law regulates relationship. Law helps you to fulfill your obligations and to exercise your rights. Imagine a church without law. One will give baptism with water, another may give with petrol. It seems the seminarians was asked during the oral examination, brother, can we give baptism with soup? The moral theology professor asked him. He said, instead of saying no, he said, it depends, father. What it depends? If it is brother's soup, you can baptize, father's soup, you cannot baptize. In that seminary, they were taking different kinds of soup, special soup for the fathers. That's why brother's soup was almost like water. Brother's soup was almost like water. So that's why he said he wanted to teach him a lesson. It depends on. So imagine. So we need laws. How the threefold functions entrusted to us by Christ, they have to be exercised in an orderly manner. Of course, no doubt, nobody denies that Jesus opposed the misinterpretation of the law by the Jewish leaders, especially laws regarding Sabbath, when it was used to enslave people. But then true law is doing the will of God. That's why we have for our midday prayer, the famous Psalm 119, how, Lord, I love your precepts, I love your statutes, I love your ordinances, I want to follow your commands. They are a delight to me every day, midday. Those of us who take it seriously and go through the midday prayer will understand that there is meaning in all kinds of us. Imagine a city like Vijayawada without traffic laws, confusion. So law is meant to help you. And then divine law, there is no exception. Thou shalt not commit adultery, no dispensation. But man-made law, there can always be exceptions. In certain situations, observance of the law is not so helpful to the spiritual welfare. That's why in some situation, an individual person is exempted from the obligation of law, what we call dispensation. So we should understand the spirit of the law, and law is needed. The Vatican II tells the code of canon law, all that I speak in pastoral language, you speak in juridical language. The canon law gives expression to the Bible and its teachings, to the Vatican II and its teaching. If you know Vatican II thoroughly, you know the new code of canon law 50%. As simple as that. Sometimes one father was asking me during one of the seminars, Father, why so many laws, Father? We can have few laws. Father, I agree with you. How long do you preach a Sunday homily? I asked him. He said 15 minutes. 15 minutes why you are preaching? You say, my dear brothers and sisters, love God, love one another. Amen. Why do you go on preaching? That's all. No, you are going to preach. 1 minute preaching is enough. 1 second preaching is enough. I told him. What so many laws? Different areas of our life, from the experience of the people, have been regulated. That's all. We need not be slave. Actually, a real canonist will not be too rigorous, but then he will be very, very pastoral. Okay. Having said that, I want to come to you about obedience. So during the ordination ceremony, the bishop asked, do you promise to obey me and my successor? Respect and obey me and my successor. The ordinance says, keeping his hand within the hands of the bishop, Yes, I promise. In Tamil, they always ask Vakali Kiraya. I don't know the Telugu word. What Bishop asks in Telugu? Do you promise? How is it called? Okay. So the person says Vakali Kiraya. Some of the priests are telling in the ordination ceremony, Father, forgive him, he doesn't know what he is doing. What he is doing. Some of them are saying. The bishop himself says, concludes the sermon saying, may the Lord who has begun this good work in you bring it to completion. The Lord sometimes never brings to completion. The prayer of the bishop is not heard. Prayer of the bishop is not heard. This is obedience. See, speaking about the evangelical council of obedience, I tell the religious always, Canon 601 speaks about it. I give the numbers, some of you remember may afterwards to take the old canon law book and read it. In that way I am giving the numbers, not that simply I give the number. It says, obedience is for people who have love and faith. If you love God, love the church, you have to obey. If you have faith, you obey. Love God. If you have faith in God, then you obey. Take for example a passage like Genesis 13th chapter. There is a quarrel between Abraham's servants and Lord's servants. See the response of Lord. The response of Abraham. If you go to the right, I go to the left. If you go to the left, I go to the right. In other words, a man of faith is able to say to his nephew, to whom he could have said, come on, you are my nephew, I had pity on you, I made you accompany me, get lost. That would have been the normal reaction. But then this man says, choose what you want, I will choose what you do not want. Men of faith, if you are a Vijayawada diocese priest, when the bishop were to ask you, go to this parish or that parish. Bishop, send me to a parish or an institution where nobody wants to go. Only then you are men of metal. Otherwise you will come here for simply for enjoyment. Including me, I say. So when you are ordained, you committed yourself to serving anywhere in Vijayawada. Suppose Bishop wants to send you somewhere else, another diocese, then you can say, Bishop, my intention was to serve this diocese only. This diocese only. That's what I am telling. So many of the bishops have the headache, my dear fathers, during the time of transfer. So every time, suppose 30 are transferred, 10 are utterly angry, very angry with the bishop. They think bishop has done injustice to them. No, you were called to serve the diocese of Vijayawada. Any responsibility should have been possible. So this is what is obedience. So you see the will of God. Every day we pray, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We think, who are the persons who are discerning the will? I discern the will. Most of the time, the discernment process is facilitated by the superiors. When I was addressing a clergy group in one of the southern dioceses, 3 of my classmates stood in front of the bishop. My classmate said like this, we are ready to go to any parish where you send bishop. In front of all the clergy, they told me. I was so much touched by that public testimony of their adherence to the gospel, to the values of the church. I don't know whether it needs to be stopped for some time. Since many days it was not used to mix, but the other fathers can go to other places. Okay, doesn't matter. This obedience to the Roman Pontiff, obedience to the ordinary, obedience to the bishop, It is tough, but then as consecrated persons, as persons who are promised obedience, we have to stick where we are pasted and go wherever you are posted. Stick where you are pasted and go wherever you are posted. Otherwise, it becomes just one more profession. Like today's gospel, today's first reading, I have to say certain things. God tells both Jeremiah and Ezekiel, They will not listen to you. You don't worry. But then you say it. You say it. Some may be resenting what I say, but then it is the need of anybody who is called to address or manifest the teaching of the church how to say. This is the thing. So in this area there are a lot of problems. Sometimes we think, Father, I don't deserve this parish. So if you are more talented, appointed in a small parish, your attitude should be even to make this small parish the best parish possible. Best parish possible. Then we say evaluation. So he always came for second session exam. He is given this office. But then I was getting first class and distinction. I am doing like this. In ecclesiastical area, we need to see not only technical qualification, but also moral qualification. Moral qualification, some people lack, some are enlightened, they will, that's all. You can't entrust them with an important responsibility. So there are questions of obedience, so many times it may come. Later on you can ask me regarding that, but then I just want to say what the law of the church speaks about it also. Secondly, one of the things is 274, the first paragraph is not needed. The second paragraph speaks about you have to accept the office entrusted to them. It goes along with the obligation of obedience and faithfully fulfill the office. Fulfill the office. Accept the office and faithfully fulfill. 274, canon law, paragraph 2. Accept the office and faith. Many people accept but do not faithfully fulfill. Elsewhere, in what way you can become holy? We diocesan priests, I am a diocesan priest. We diocesan priests are told, you become holy by the faithful fulfillment of the pastoral office. Our means of becoming holy is by the faithful fulfillment of the pastoral office. Now we have to examine also. I am appointed parish priest. I am appointed in this institution. Am I faithfully fulfilling it? Faithful fulfillment.